This is the second video for the important questions for B1 GESE Grade 5 Speaking and Listening exam. We will discuss about the conversation phase topic. The first one which I made was about festival, so if you haven't watched that, please watch that. All of these videos have been made in Urdu before, but because of the demand of my viewers, I'm going to make all of these conversation phase as well as personal topic phase videos in English. So this is our second in this series. So let us have a look what topic we are going to talk about this time. So festivals is done. If you haven't watched that, please watch that first. The second topic out of these 6 topics in conversation phase is means of transport. So if you are here for the first time, so I would suggest you to please go back and check what B1 exam is and what is it required for and what is the structure of the text, structure of this test, because there are 2 phases. One is conversation phase, one is personal topic phase. So in personal topic phase, you choose one topic, whichever topic you like, and then you get ready with that, and examiner will ask you questions on that. I have made videos on that in detail, please watch that. In conversation phase, you have these 6 topics, and out of these 6 topics, examiner chooses any 2 of them and asks you questions. So you have to prepare all of them because you don't know which 2 topics the examiner will choose. So that's why we are trying to learn everything, all of these 6 topics in this video series. So our topic for today is means of transport. So let us see what important questions may come in the exam and see how you have to answer. Before the questions, let us enjoy some of these pictures. So all of these are means of transport. Unfortunately, I couldn't put the picture of a ship or a boat, so that is also a means of transport, but these are just to give you some idea: train, tube, cycle, motorbike, bus or double-decker, and taxi. So these all are means of transport which take you from A to B. So here are some questions. The question number 1 is, can you ride a motorcycle or motorbike, whatever you call it? You could answer in yes or no. So because I know that some people do things, some people don't do the same things. So I will answer in both ways, yes or no. So if you ride a bike, you could say yes, I ride a bike, I really like to ride a bike. If you don't, you say no, I'm sorry, I don't ride any bike because of the weather, and I don't like to ride a bike. I love to drive a car. Okay, so that is how you answer the question. So do you drive a car often? If you drive it often, then you could say yes, I drive a car often because I have to go to job and I have to pick and drop my children from school, and sometimes I go to my friend's house, relative's house. So yes, quite often. If you don't, then you say no, I don't drive a car often, or I don't drive at all. I prefer to use the public transport because I like it. Next question, have you ever got a parking ticket? If you have got, then you could say yes, once I parked in the wrong place. It was a misunderstanding, but anyhow I got a parking ticket which I paid online. If you haven't, you could say no, I'm very careful about these things. I check before I go somewhere, and if I can buy a parking ticket beforehand, I do that. Otherwise, I am very careful and I didn't have any parking ticket. Are there speed limits in your country? If so, what is the average speed limit? And now make sure that you understand this thing. Parking rules, traffic rules are almost universal, which are same everywhere, but there could be slight variations. But if you know the traffic rules in this country, they are almost the same, so you can apply to your country as well. So the answer to this question could be yes, there are speed limits, just like the UK, in my country, and on busy roads it is normally, where there are schools and colleges, there it is 20 miles an hour, and if it is a high speed road like highways or motorways, then it is 70 miles an hour. But here you could say, if it is, I mean, in some countries it is kilometers, so you could say that in my country the only difference is that it's not in miles, it's in kilometers. So where you have 30 miles in the UK, in my country it is 40 kilometers an hour or something like that. Do you often use public transport? So if you use, then you say, yes, I do use public transport quite a lot, because I have to go to work and I have to go to shopping, or go to swimming, stuff like that. If you don't, you could say, no, I don't drive. No, I don't use public transport. I like to drive, or sometimes I mean, use bicycle. Have you ever been in a traffic accident? If you have been, then you could say, yes, unfortunately, once I had a minor accident, although it was not my fault, but obviously on the road you have to be very careful about your own driving as well as other people's driving. You see, sometimes I give longer answers. If you like it, fine. Otherwise, 1 or 2 sentences would be okay. Make sure you don't worry about the facts. Make sure you speak. And if you haven't been in an accident, you say, well, no, I have never been in an accident. I'm a careful driver. I try to be very alert when I'm driving. So thanks God I didn't have any accident. Have you ever been stopped for speeding? If you are a naughty guy, then you can say, oh, once I was over speeding. Actually, I was going somewhere, it was an emergency, and I didn't realize that the speed limit was 30. I was going on 40, so I was yeah, stopped for speeding. If you haven't, then you say, no, I try to follow the speed limits. They are there for a reason, so I don't believe in overspeeding, so I just drive within the limits. Next question. Have you ever missed your last train or bus? Normally everybody does that. So you could say, yes, once I was coming back from work and it was raining, it was late night, and I missed my bus and train, and I was drenched in rain. So that was once. Yeah, I never miss. I try to be on time. If you have never missed, you could say, no, I don't miss my buses and trains, because I'm very, very punctual person, and I keep time and try to be early. It's better to be early than late. So these are some of the questions. Let us see the next set of questions. Have you ever ridden a horse? I mean, this could be a question, but I'm not sure whether they would ask you, because these days nobody rides a horse, because except for recreational purposes. If you have, then you could say, yes, I have. It's a beautiful experience, and it's really lovely. If you haven't, you can say, no, I didn't ever ride a horse, but I would love to. Okay. How do you get to school? It could be a school, it could be university, it could be college, it could be job, whatever. So you could say, I drive to my school, or you could say, I take a public transport, which is bus, to school. Next question. How many times have you traveled by airplane? So you could say, well, I don't know exactly, but many times, because I am from this country or that country. You could say the country's name, your country, and I travel back home once or twice a year, so quite a lot. And sometimes I travel inside the UK and or Europe and take planes. So many times. If you haven't traveled many times, you could say, well, I don't like traveling a lot, and especially I don't like traveling by air, so I try to prefer, I mean, I prefer to take train, but of course when I have to go back to my country, I have to take a plane, but I don't like it. Is parking a problem in your country? Well, some countries are quite huge. For example, the US and Australia and I mean other countries in Asia where they don't have any parking problems. UK has quite, I mean, a lot of parking problems, no spaces, not a big, huge country, so that's why, and congested as well in terms of traffic, especially in London. So if you have problems, you could say, well, our country is exactly like the UK where there are so much traffic and parking is a huge problem. If you haven't, you could say, no, there are so many spaces, there is no paid parking in my country, you can park wherever you like. Some people are irresponsible, they park wherever they like and cause problems for others, but I mean, mostly there are many spaces, open spaces, where you can park without any problem. Next, what kind of transport do you have in your country? Well, in my country, we have almost the same transport as in the UK. For example, we have trains, we have buses, taxis, airplanes. If you have something different, you can say that. Yeah, so no problem. You know your country's transport better than I do. Next, what do you think is the most dangerous form of transportation and why? Well, I would um, answer this question from my personal liking and disliking, so don't take it to heart, don't be offended. Well, I think that motorbikes are the most dangerous form of transportation, and I don't like them because you are fully exposed not only to the traffic but to the weather as well. So this is my opinion. If you think something else, you can say that. What do you think is the safest form of transportation and why? Well, I think the safest form of transportation is airplanes or aeroplanes, as you call them. Uh, why? Because in the air, it's not that busy as it is on the ground. You could see so many buses, cars, and taxis, and congestion. Population is growing at a rapid speed, and because of that, we have so much of these moving machines. But in the air, I mean, you only see one or two airplanes moving about. So I think it's the airplane which is the safest mode of transport. And by the way, I tell you, according to the world, I mean, not world, according to the statistics, traveling by air is the safest mode of transport. I'm not sure about the sea, but yeah. What do you usually do when riding a train or a bus? So that means when you are traveling, what do you do? Don't say we look at people and stare at people. Yeah, I mean, mostly people do that. But you could say, well, when I'm traveling, I read books, or I listen to music, or I just sit and relax and watch beautiful scenery outside, whatever you like to do, you can mention. What is your favorite kind of car and why? I mean, this is quite a huge question, open-ended question, so you can say whatever you like. I don't have any favorite car, so I would just, let's say I would just pretend that I like not the car, but I like train, so I would say, well, my favorite kind of transport is train because you can read quite easily in the train and it doesn't stop a lot and it goes very fast, and obviously it is environmental friendly as well to travel by train. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Another set of questions. Would you like to go on a cruise? Why or why not? Yes, I would definitely like to go on a cruise because I have been to a boat to go to the Isle of Wight, and it was a ferry, and it was such a beautiful experience. So I would think that going on a cruise would be a better experience and a longer journey. Do you sometimes take a taxi or cab? Yes, sometimes when it is, excuse me, when it is an emergency, or if I have to reach somewhere, um, I mean, urgently or quickly, then I take a taxi or cab. How important do you think it is to use public transportation? Well, I think it's very, very important to use public transport because of the population factor, as people are already worried about the global warming. So it's our responsibility to reduce the use of personal cars and motorbikes and all that stuff, and use public transport so we um, could save our planet as well. It's a bit too much, but you can say just one or two lines, yeah. Do you think that the government should encourage public transportation more? Yes, I think government should encourage more public transport by adding more and more uh, uh, means facilities like good transportation covering every area, trams and tubes and Wi-Fi's on them so that people are attracted, and cheaper fares so that people are attracted to travel by public transport. Do you have a good public transportation where you live? Yes, where I live, public transportation is quite good. There are very good links like buses and trains and tubes. Everything is just close to my house, so I like it. Is public transportation in your country too expensive? Well, I don't think so. They are a little bit expensive, but not that much. Yeah. Do you think that your city government maintains the public transport well? Well, I think that my city government is very efficient and they maintain the transport very well. There is a bus service throughout the night, and there is a tram station very close to my house where you can get a tram every 30 minutes. So I'm happy with that. Do you feel safe when you use public transport? Well, in this country, I feel safe because there are CCTV cameras here, and I mean, you have the facility to call if there is a problem inside the trains and buses. There is a system where you can get in touch with the emergency services. So I like that. What kind of transportation do you use most often? Well, I use public transport and buses most often. So that was it. These were some of the questions based on the practice resources on Trinity College website. As I told you that based on the experience and based on the knowledge, I just presented some questions, very important questions. Transport is a very easy topic, I tell you. I mean, you can just make up stuff. But if you still have questions, you can ask me, and I wish you all the best. Bye.